Chandler's was a great idea. I mean, I first read it, and I think it was way ahead of its time.
The premise was really 3 agents based in Geneva.
It was one of these fictitious organisations that was set up to put the rights wrong, put the wrongs to right all around the world, and they employed a number of agents who were sent out on missions.
Oh, it's a super premise, really. It's a bit Shangri-La-ish, actually.
The Champions were about this organisation, Nemesis, and they had their agents, Stuart Damon and Bill Gaunt, who were 2 of their top men. And on a particular mission, they also recruited a biologist, played by Alexander Bastedo, and they had to go to China to find some cultures that could cause widespread death around the world. The Chinese are developing. And their mission is successful, but on the way back, their aircraft crashes, assumably in the Himalayas.
And they sort of are in coma, and then they're picked up by these strange monks.
They are looked after by a tribe with a guru at its head. Shangri-La, if you like.
The 3 people are taken back to this village and they have received medical attention. All they see is coloured lights as they're taken down a long corridor on stretchers.
And eventually, when they return to civilization, they find that they've been imbued with special powers.
They can hear things from 50 miles away or the other side of the world practically. They can see further, they can jump higher, and there's all kinds of wonderful things they can do, which of course aids them in their future escapades.
She stopped. I think she can hear us.
Sharon. Sharon, can you hear me? This is Craig. All right. Now, act normal. No, they can't hear us. Now look, Richard is here and we're going to make a move, but we need your help. Touch your face if you understand.
It's fantastic.
What I liked about it, I was saying earlier to Tom, that they never changed into anything. Like the X-Men thing, like all the old monsters and things like that.
Yeah.
It kept it real somehow, didn't it? That they had this stuff, but they didn't turn into tigers and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think what was good, I thought that when they crashed in Tibet, they had these incredible powers. I thought I might nip across myself and get my hearing done.
We'll never be able to keep this secret. We'll have to tell Tremaine.
Tell him what?
Well, tell him.
Sharon, we don't even know what these powers are ourselves.
What's the first thing you remember?
Well, we talked about it in the car. It was the actual film test. That was the 3 of us trying out for it and all being nervous wrecks. And then being surprised when we actually all got it.
Test 52, take 3.
Feels as though we're moving out to sea again.
Boy, was I a fool. Had my chance and took it without even thinking. When you consider what we got going for us, I'm an even bigger fool.
Oh, I wouldn't take it so bad, Craig. I mean, I haven't got much to boast about either. Although the Capitan double-crossing Muller, that was something I don't think anyone could have seen coming, whatever powers they had.
If you two would stop placating your egos, you might try and figure out why we're still alive.
There's a third ego around to thank for that.
Lou Grade was prepared to package a show to put up the finance. He was conscious of the fact that if you're going to sell it to America, it's quite a healthy idea to have at least one person in the show that they can relate to from their own country.
My name is Stuart Damon. I play Craig Sterling in a new series called The Champions. You can see it here on Channel 9.
I had seen this actor, Stuart Damon, in a play production of Houdini's life. And he was handsome, tall, and in every way, for me, attractive for the role.
I can remember one of my very first memories is coming to see you in Houdini.
Oh, get away!
because you remember Stuart was working in Houdini for that great impresario Harold Fielding, your great friend.
Don't go there! Don't go there! I paid him a lot of money to be on the Champions.
You did. I was going to tell him that story, but I won't.
You can tell. No.
Well, Stuart signed to do the Champions, and he was under contract to this impresario, Harold Fielding, to play the lead in a big musical in the West End, which he was doing. And Mr. Fielding said, yes, you can go ahead and do the Champions, but as long as the Champions runs, I shall expect a percentage of your fee.
10%.
10% of Stuart's fee every week. And Stuart agreed to it, had nothing else, he had no alternative. And what was it, a week, 2 weeks after that?
The show closed.
The show closed.
You still had to
he
pay
shows
him.
the clothes.
Of course, he did this on purpose.
Yeah.
He did this on purpose. He knew that I got it.
Yeah.
He knew that I got the Champions, and he said, oh, well, this will be a nice stipend for the next year.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks after I agreed to it, the show closed, and literally we must have started on the Champions like the week after, because that was in February of 1967.
And so if ever I needed to pump him up to get him getting a bit more aggressive on the series, I'd
That's right, you
whisper in his ear, Harold Fielding.
It's true.
And he'd go,
It's true. That's true. I didn't remember that one. You're absolutely right. That was, oh, God.
And then at a casting session at Associated British, which were the casting department for the studio, I met Alexandra Bastedo. Well, in those days, one's ideal, perhaps, was Grace Kelly. And somehow she spoke to me in that manner. I thought she was a beauty. And we did a little bit of testing together, and I said yes.
I'm Alexandra Bastedo. And if you make a date each week with Channel 9, you'll see me as Sharon McCready in The Champions. It's a new series full of excitement and surprise. So do keep that date each week on Channel 9, won't you?
When I first met Alex, well, every time I met Alexandra Bastedo, I always got the impression that she'd been brought in a plastic bag and they'd opened the clear plastic and she'd stepped out. She was absolutely pristine and something curiously remote and virginal about her. She was a very nice person. I liked her enormously.
I mean, we were cast, weren't we, as we were, weren't we, really?
We were.
You know.
We were who we were.
And you know, I was the intelligent one, and you were the muscly one, and she was the beautiful one. It was about that, wasn't it? Really?
That was about right. And it seemed to work just fine, didn't it?
And it is the thing that when you're working under such intense pressure and having to learn so much, that you are really cast for who you are, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that
they were asking me in the car, you know, about the differences between you and me. I said, well, the difference would be that if a door was locked, William would figure out a way how to get round it, and Craig would go through
it. Yeah, absolutely. As long as it wasn't glass.
As long as it wasn't glass. And Alex would be there.
And I would do ESP asking you to come and do
exactly.
it.
Yeah, she'd be on the other side of the door. That's why we'd be going through there. Get her out. I loved it when we went out of the office.